Your pineal gland is a projector, and you're projecting the reality that you see and consciously experience in every single nanosecond. Huge misunderstanding of how crystals operate, and the fact that people don't understand that there's crystals in our brains, and there's crystals that help us to perceive reality, and crystals are found in the pineal gland and the piezoelectric effect. I want to explain that we can have a deeper understanding of our reality. Why is everybody in the spiritual community so obsessed with crystals and seemingly so interested in like raising their vibration? Well, basically because everything is vibration. When it comes down to it, everything is just oscillating, and it has a vibration because of this oscillation. And crystals are when light frequency condenses into a lower or into a highest vibration. So it's the highest vibration of condensed light frequencies without going straight to something like light matter. Basically everything is a frequency. The window behind me, everything it's made out of is a frequency, because everything on the atomic level is oscillating, and it's basically slowed down condensed matter so that we can experience it in the physical. When you go to higher dimensions in these realms, everything becomes less dense, so the light matter is oscillating at higher frequencies, and you're able to experience and see it. If we were it would just be really bright light. And that's what people talk about when they say, I'm channeling this violet flame energy, or I'm channeling the light of God, and stuff like that. A lot of what that means can be just the highest light frequency and the highest light vibration, and the sun also emits these high frequencies of light, and it's able to activate us through biophotonic light. And there's a lot that can happen when light codes find DNA, and your DNA can be activated by light codes. So that's why it's such a big deal to understand and work with and understand crystals, and not to dismiss it as demonic. Unless you are specifically channeling demonic entities with crystals, then there is nothing demonic about it. I will say that a lot of entities can disguise themselves as angels of light and all that, and that's very true. And that's not true, but if you have spiritual discernment, then you're able to see if something is a false light or if something is not. So let's talk about what the piezoelectric effect is. So basically piezoelectricity, all it means is that when you apply pressure to something, there's an electrical charge that happens after the pressure is applied, and it typically deals with crystals and crystallizations that can have electricity coming off of them because of pressure being applied. Now, there has been scientific studies that have found that there are actually crystals present in our pineal gland, which is in the center of our brains. And the pineal gland is responsible for a lot of melatonin regulations, a lot of regulations in mood, and from a spiritual aspect, it's considered the seat of the soul, and it's highly regarded as something sacred. There's crystals in the pineal gland. Second harmonic measurements show that the pineal gland contain non-centrosymmetric crystals, which proves that there's a piezoelectric effect in the pineal gland. What does that mean in layman's terms? It basically means that our pineal glands emit a certain amount of electricity. So we actually are EMF sensitive because of this, and I'll show the article right here talking about EMF sensitivity in the pineal gland because of the piezoelectric effect. Our pineal glands are literally piezoelectric. They conduct electricity. They emit an electric charge, which is crazy. You can conduct electric fields through your pineal gland, literally inside your brain. So why is this important again? Because there's crystals in your brain. Literally, there's crystals in your pineal gland. If you activate these crystals and you actually electrify these crystals in your pineal gland, you become a mega conductor. You become way more powerful than you were before. You literally go from being like organic dead piece of matter that doesn't conduct electricity, multi-dimensional electric being. And when people talk about auras and auric fields, and oh, this person has a weak auric field, this person has a strong auric field, this stuff matters in how you actually affect and influence certain parts of reality, certain parts of your own reality, your own mood. Everything like that is affected by the strength of your auric field. And when you start to activate that and you lengthen your auric field, and your auric field goes from being like a 2 feet radius to being 50 feet radius to 100 feet radius, and you go from emitting being like a dead radio frequency, not being able to emit or transmute any of the frequencies you encounter on a day-to-day basis, and then you go from a light conductor where you're actually able to conduct and emit these frequencies. You can pick up on clairvoyance, you can pick up on a lot, and there's a lot of evidence to show that these frequencies actually manipulate what's called the holographic universe. And I want to jump really quickly into the David Bohm research that he did on quantum physics. First, I just want to give you a quick metaphor that's going to help you understand this. So let's imagine our reality as a CD, and our reality is being viewed through a computer. So what we do is we put the CD into the computer, and then a light or a laser illuminates. You're able to project that onto your holographic reality. Let's say you have no more light on that laser. You're not going to be able to read that CD-ROM. You're not going to be able to project anything. So in that way, you need to be enhancing your pineal gland's functions and your light body's functions to be able to emit these types of frequencies, to have an effect on reality, to have your effects that change a literal matter in our reality. And so David Bohm was a quantum physicist, and he had a lot of interest in figuring out the nature of reality. And his greatest contribution was understanding that reality is not just singular mechanisms that don't operate within a collective structure, but that reality was in itself a collective structure, and that the singular affected the whole, and that everything was a hologram, and that one little change in one area of the reality could change the entire reality. He said that mind and matter are not separate. Let's take a minute to understand what this means. He's saying that your mind is literally not a separate entity from the matter, the physical reality that you exist in. That means that you literally have a way of influencing your physical reality greater than anyone has ever told you. Terminology to explain this is called holomovement. It basically means that reality is constructed in a way that's in flux, so everything is always oscillating, everything is always changing, and it's constructed in a way that's closely similar to a hologram. When I've had experiences with transcendental meditations, I was able to see objects in front of me turn themselves into literal holograms. It was really trippy. I was able to see the almost building structures, like little lines and frequencies and dots that connected and conducted physical matter, like things in my room. A better way to explain this would be to say that, when you're playing a video game and there's sometimes an option to take the game from the visual of seeing the entire game and then take it to a visual of seeing just the skeleton of the game, so you see just like the construction of the game, and there you could sometimes see like the numbers or like the lines in the artwork, and it's just like not filled in yet, but you can see like these building blocks. That's kind of like what I'm saying here, is I was able to see like past the outer skins of every object and kind of into this skeleton like structure. And that's how I see and visualize it when David's talking about a hologram. That's like my closest go-to for a visualization there. Don't get so close to it. It's just a hologram, and this hologram has influence based on us because we're inside of the hologram and we're not this separate entity. We can influence this hologram, we can change it, and we can move our thoughts in accordance with what we want to see and what we desire to see in the hologram. How we desire the hologram to be laid out can be inflicted by our thoughts, and that's the holomovement aspect of David Bohm's quantum physics work. Similarly, with a hologram, one part of the hologram contains information about the whole hologram, and that's how Bohm interpreted reality. He said that one part of reality contains information about the whole part of reality. So you could find the entire universe in just one segment or aspect of the universe. So let's take everything that we just learned and let's take it back to the individual, which is us. And let's take it back to the pineal gland. So if it's true that Bohm's theory about the holographic universe, that one part of the universe contains the whole parts of the universe, and that one part can affect the whole, then if we are affecting our pineal glands and we are adding to light and adding to higher frequencies in this realm, then we are actually able to affect the whole in a positive way, which can affect the whole. Then if we are affecting our pineal glands and we are adding to light and adding to higher frequencies in this realm, then we are actually able to affect the whole in a positive way without even being what we think is the whole. So in that way, we're way more powerful than we think, and we have way more ability to conduct ourselves. And this is both a blessing and a curse, because this comes with great responsibility, but it also is necessary because we should understand how powerful we are as multidimensional beings and spirits, and not just physical bodies. One great way to activate the pineal gland is called squeezing, and this is something that I've been doing since I was a kid, and I had no idea that this was something that dealt with spirituality or whatever you want to call it. I had no idea really what I was doing. I just felt intrigued to do this, and every time I've done this, I'm able to see a very huge ball of light in front of my forehead and like inside of my brain, and I see these like little specks of light, and I had no idea that that was something that dealt with the pineal gland. I mean, I was like 6 and 7, right? Okay, like really young. So what you do is you close your eyes, and I want you to try to imagine where the pineal gland is to kind of try to get a basis for where it is, and you squeeze your forehead and your upper part of your brain. And sorry, it's really loud. This might be kind of hard to get the hang of at first, but what I do is I just put pressure on it, and you might feel a little bit of a rattling at first, and that's really good because that means it's actually working and it's actually stimulating and creating a piezoelectric effect on your pineal gland. Do this often and you'll see a lot of good mood changes, and you'll actually activate your pineal gland, and you won't even have to do it that often, because once it's activated, it's kind of like a snowball, and it just gets more and more powerful as you go along. You might have auric field sensations where you see lights, or you might just be able to start having clairvoyance and predicting the future, like crazy stuff like that, where you will be just more in tune with this realm, and instead of being cut off, you actually play a better role and you play a stronger role. And that's how I do it. And don't stress yourself out and give yourself a headache, but just try it out and see if it works. Frequencies act as actual holographic light projections, and the pineal gland is actually a holographic light projector that projects reality in what we see. And crystals play a huge role in this, because crystals are more conductive than just the copper wires in your house. Crystals are highly conductive, and they're conductive because of the piezoelectric effect. So they can either conduct high frequencies or they can conduct low frequencies, and that's why it's important to understand how to raise your individual frequency and avoid low frequencies, because those can lower your vibration and lower the consciousness that you exist in. So the idea that space is not empty space, but is actually more like a hologram and contains a lot of information, and the singular part of it contains the whole, also talks about 0-point energy. And 0-point energy is the idea that there is an energetic point that contains infinite amount of energy that doesn't have to be recharged by anything, but is just a 0-point energy. And that is something that's accessible in just one part of the universe. So you don't have to have the entirety of the universe, of the atoms, to experience the whole of the universe. So how do we tap into the hologram? Through our pineal gland. This is probably one of the most powerful ways to do it. And by opening up the pineal gland and opening up its ability to access these frequencies, you can go to the higher dimensional realms just through this. And a lot of this is conducted with astral traveling, but a lot of it doesn't even have to be about leaving your body. You can have a light body in this body, and you don't have to leave your body or anything like that, and you just activate your pineal gland. So use those exercises, and don't be afraid of crystals, and don't think that crystals are demonic or anything, because they're just part of the mineral realm, and they have nothing inherently demonic about them, or evil, or stressful, or fearful. And in Atlantis as well, just a quick side note, in Atlantis they did use crystals to conduct energy. Atlantis, it was their primary source of energy for the city, and that's like 0-point energy. So it's basically like free energy, but even more than that. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My name is MeaganxRose, and if you want to see more content like this, then please subscribe and like the video. I love you guys so much, and have a great, wonderful rest of your day. Bye!